Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Cameron Landfield.
Well, good evening, everybody. We've got even more of these cold temperatures and precipitation remaining for the next several days here, so certainly tonight we'll see more of that. Looking at the Stormcast right now, we have the same feature that we've been looking at for several days now. It does, however, start to move a little bit more towards the east through tonight into tomorrow, but that doesn't change much. We're still seeing a big cold pool dropping through, and the circulation system around that is promoting more of that showery weather. But let's talk about instability for a moment, because that is a big part of the forecast for today. Now, instability is one of the reasons why we see all of the showers. So when we see a front come through, that's a different situation, and that brings us more consistent rainfall. But of course, we've seen a little sun, and then showers, and a little sun, and then showers, and maybe even some graupel and hail with snow in there too. So the reason for that is because of a couple things. That cold pool brings us way colder air overhead, and then there's always just a little leftover warm air underneath that. And depending on how strong that difference in temperatures is, we'd call that the lapse rate in science. That is going to show you how extreme our instability is, because the warmer air, it's got to rise, and as it rises through the cold air, it forms clouds. Depending on how much moisture is in there is going to show you how much rainfall comes on out. Now, also the speed and intensity in which that happens, which is still based on the differences in temperatures, is going to tell you how much rainfall and also how much hail and graupel you have too. When you have those really fast rising movements, you end up with a little bit of a tumbling up inside those clouds, and depending on how tall they are, that tumbling can start to freeze some of the rain, and then that rain falls off as frozen drops, which ends up as graupel or even as hail sometimes. Now, the temperature from the top of that cloud down to the bottom of the ground, if it's freezing all the way down, you could end up with snowflakes embedded in that rainfall, and that's what's happened every single morning when we've had that cooling down towards the surface. You'll notice some of those lightning strikes happening too. Another thing that happens with the really fast rising motion is you end up building up some potential, and then that's lightning. So if you see a lot of sunshine and there's super cold temperatures above with warmth on the surface, you could expect lightning. Now, looking at our accumulations here all the way through the remainder of the weekend, it doesn't look like we see too much snowfall out over the passes, but there's still some of these dark blue zones in the higher elevations where we could be getting another foot or so of snow. But more importantly, look at how far out that goes. All the blue is as deep as the valley. So again, more snowfall coming up into tomorrow morning. And through the remainder of the weekend, this is what we see for the full accumulations of the rainfall too. So it's not as intense as it looked on Friday, but there certainly is more wet weather and maybe even some more frozen weather coming with that as well. Into the 7-day forecast, it's looking like we'll be in those low 40s for the next several days on the coast. Getting a little warmer Tuesday, but another chance for some rain and snow coming up then. Umpqua Basin at 43 for that high today, and then we will see back into the low to mid 40s the rest of the week there. Looking at Thursday, it looks particularly possible that we'll end up with some ice, so keep that in mind. Cascade passes, snowfall all the way through into Wednesday. They're particularly heavy coming up Monday evening, and of course for the Willamette Valley, looking at a mix of snow and rain all the way through maybe even to Tuesday or Wednesday, and then things dry out Wednesday evening but still stay freezing, which does bring us more possibilities of ice in the morning.